Yeah, guys, I kind of forgot to mention in the video, but I remembered I'm gonna actually send this replay to Asian Eyes White Dragon because me and Shari aren't really meta players, but I really want to get like his idea about the deck and like how I can make it better, or maybe he can make his own variant. And, we can duel and see which one's better. Yeah, because since he's a really good player and like he's into the meta and stuff, like I think he could have really cool ideas. But yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to say, and let's get on with the video. Hey guys, JCcalonge here from ShaolinProductionz with
Sharia.
and we're gonna bring you a Box of Friends gameplay. This is a cool deck I made, but we're just gonna do like a duel discussion first, and then we'll give a little like deck profile so you guys can see what the deck really is. So I versed against FishLancers. It's kind of an older deck, but his play actually went off. So both our plays kind of went off, but you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, and the reason why this actually became a deck, the Box of Friends deck that JC made, was because his last name is Calonge. He goes by JCcalonge sometimes, and I found the card called Princess Calonge, and it was actually really, like, it had a nice art, and I liked it. So I was like, you know what? Might as well give it to my buddy JC, and I gave it to him. He sat there for about an hour, and an hour later he's like, duel me. So
yeah, here's the card.
there's the card right there. I mean, look at the balloon. It's just like, meh. It's awesome. Anyway, let's get back to the... Sorry.
So yeah, he starts off, his hand's not too great, but he has some protection. He sets MST and Compulse. All I can really do, I wanted to play it safe, and I played Zimbawa. Zimbawa was a really good card. There's the effect if you guys don't know. But yeah, he compulsed it, so I can't really do much after that, so I just end my turn.
And then into his draw, he draws into Tragodia, which means he can't do much either, except sit on his back row.
So I wasn't really sure still what it was, so I just went for Zimbawa since he gets an on-destruction effect. Plus, he gains attack on the attack declaration, so he gets plus 500, which is pretty good.
Yep, and then on that attack, he summons Tragodia, and now with like 5 cards in hand, he's able to get over Zimbawa with a devastating 1500, but on destruction, JC sends out Box of Friends. Now, a lot of people like kind of hate on Box of Friends for like no reason, but it's actually a really good card. When it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard in any sort of way whatsoever, special summon 2 normal monsters with different names whose attacks and defense is...
Oh no,
or. It's my bad. I'm kind of blind here. It's like or defense is 0. So this leaves an immense amount of possibilities.
Yeah.
Like...
And you'll see the key players. Actually, Box of Friends is a key player, but you'll see who Box of Friends gets. So I go into Tour Guide, go into Tour Bus, and I go for Zen mains, just in case it was like a Raikou or like a Mirror Force or something face down. I probably got Zen mains effect off, but nothing happened. But we get 2 really old cards that I really haven't seen in any other deck. So Box of Friends was able to get Labyrinth Wall and Millennium Shield, which is really good because they have 3k defense, so they're pretty difficult to get over. I'm not really too sure of what decks really get over that.
I think the only real decks that get over that are... Actually, there aren't too many.
Yeah, because the max attack I've noticed in most meta decks is like tops off at 3k, so
even 28.
Yeah.
So
they're pretty difficult to get over with attacks. But they're still vulnerable to, destruction effects.
And I think the only deck that actually really get over 3k is Noble Knights.
Yeah.
Right now, because of all their equip spells. So, any other deck that you can go against, you're going to have that wall constantly for that 3k wall. And it's only going to be for 1 turn, so you just stop him there and then go into your next play,
Yeah.
So let's see. He draws into a bottomless, which...
Can't really do much because he doesn't want to attack Zen mains. Which I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either.
So I go into Tears, and this is where my opponent does a misplay, because I guess he didn't know Tears' effect, or he thought it didn't resolve yet. But Tears has a continuous effect. It's an older Xyz, but as long as it has Xyz material, it can't be destroyed with any card effect. So Bottomless destroys and then banishes, so it wasn't, able to do that. So Tears is always a good safe play, because I'm still not sure what this is, because, he hasn't activated, so it might be nothing, but he might just have been saving it for later on. So, anyway, I attacked the Tragodia because I didn't want it to destroy my Tears next turn, and I finally popped the back row, discovering it was just MST all along.
That bluff, though.
Yeah.
Bluff's too real. But now he knows he can't really do much, so he ends his turn on just sitting on Rodenttoden, which, no, isn't too bad, but...
Yeah, it's better than, you know, because it's just going to get something destroyed, like a back row or something.
And in a way, I think he kind of wanted it too.
Yeah.
So,
next turn, he just, you know, he goes off. This is where his play actually goes off.
it's all based on Swap Frog, which I thought was really cool. Like, I've never seen a Frog deck before, so actually seeing this in play, I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, you just play right off the Swap Frog.
So he's just Swap Frogging all this. He, like, mills his whole deck pretty much.
Then he special summons Rodenttoden, makes...
And then he makes this. Oh, whoops. You can't see it now.
But anyway, this card is ridiculous.
The card under it was okay. I wasn't really too bad, like, scared about it. But then this one was really bad because it negates effects. And I didn't want my Zen mains to get destroyed.
And not only that, you can't destroy it.
Yeah.
Either, because then it could just detach the material for it.
So I was going to save my Compulse for the CLancer because I knew he had it. But I was like, I have to do it now. So then he goes for his CLancer play. He doesn't get too many equips, but he still gets, you know, a pretty decent amount of equips. He goes Dark Hole, but I go into Box of Friends, which is pretty good. He goes for Zen mains to, you know, get rid of that last material, so he doesn't have to worry about it later on. With Zen mains, I pop the field spell instead of popping the CLancer or the equip, because CLancer can just destroy the equip, and I didn't want him to do that just yet, so yeah, I think the field spell was more problematic than anything else.
Yeah, because I think it's like all water monsters, like, they gain levels according to how many water monsters you control. So you can potentially make like level 7 and go Big Eye or Dragosack.
Yeah, so I was just like, that's more problematic. Plus, I had the Chaos Sorcerer to just banish it since Chaos doesn't really, you know, destroy. So I go for a little Mystic Piper, see if I can get anything, but I only got a Misty, which isn't bad. But here I just go for the attack with Zen mains because I just want to get the damage. Because I figured I have control. So Box of Friends gets destroyed because of Zumbawa. Zumbawa has a condition that during the next end phase of my end phase, Box of Friends gets destroyed. Well, the monster you special summon gets destroyed. And then Box of Friends, since it got destroyed, I go into that. Which is really good synergy between Zumbawa and Box of Friends. You can kind of see where I'm going with the deck now. So just in case I don't draw a Box of Friends, I can go into Zumbawa. But yeah, here he goes into like a little like another Swap Frog kind of loop. Gets all the Rodenttoden in the grave. He's like, oh my god. So here I was like, is he gonna go double Gotchi? But nope, he goes Dark Mist.
And it was pretty much what I called too. I was like, he's definitely going Dark Mist because I was thinking like there's no other like requirements for rank 2s that need more than 2, except for Dark Mist and I think one other one. Yeah. I can't really think of that name, but I wouldn't use it. So MST, Swords, he goes into Adrius and he's gonna pop Dark Mist.
Because I didn't want to battle that thing.
And then this is where he rage quits because he knows there's no way to win, because all that's gonna happen is that he's gonna attack over with Adrius and deal 34 damage, which is just enough to take out GustmanEXE.
So yeah, guys, that's a little duel showing you what the deck is actually capable of. Because I think this is going to be the final version of the deck, unless you guys have any other suggestions I can do. But yeah, if you see any of the other Box of Friends decks around, it's probably because of me, because I've been dueling with this deck a lot. But let's go into a little deck profile now. Alright guys, here's the deck. So, it's a 50 card deck. There's actually a reason for that. It's not just because I'm crazy. The actual reasoning behind it is because we have a lot of normal monsters, as you can see, and I made it a higher number of cards so I have less chance of actually drawing these. Because you don't really want to draw these. These are your Box of Friends targets, and if you don't have these in the deck, Box of Friends is kind of a dead card. So, yeah. But going on to the normal monsters, I have Dark Magician, and I'll explain why later on. And we have 2 Millennium Shield, 2 Labyrinth Wall, 2 Gemnite Garnets, and 2 Impachis. Now, we have a BLS, Chaos Sorcerers, because there's plenty of light and dark targets in the deck. I never really have a problem special summoning them, because Zumbawa opens in the grave, Tour Guides, there's also the Xyz.
Then you got your Pipers, your Effect Veilers, your Box of Friends, I think is also a light target.
Yes, it is.
So, targets are everywhere.
Then we got 3 Chameleons. Chameleon provides a lot of plays since a lot of our monsters have 0 defense. Like we got Mystic Piper goes into grave. Battle Fader for whatever reason goes into grave. Box of Friends. You know, you have your Veiler, and you also have your Gem Knight and your Blazing Impachi. So you can potentially go into a rank 4 Xyz or a level 8 Synchro.
Or even a level 5.
Yeah, with level 5 with Box of Friends. So there's plenty of targets for Mass Chameleon. Sometimes it provides problems because it does have the condition that you can't special summon any other way. But usually that Synchro will most likely, Synchro or Xyz will most likely help you out for a couple turns. Then we got 3 tour guides and a tour bus. I actually like the tour bus because sometimes I wind up with too many cards in hand and I have to discard like one of the normals, or like if I use the normal as an attachment, you know, you can always put back any target you want. Also, if there's a problematic card like maybe like a Treeborn Frog or something in your opponent's grave, you can always give it back and, you know, good luck. So tour bus is pretty good. I can also put back any Xyz I need back, which is pretty good. I kind of like tour bus in the deck. I don't know, what do you think?
I actually particularly like tour bus, and that's after using it, because like I don't know if a lot of people, I probably never mentioned it before, but I am jokingly making trap tricks, but now it's kind of become like a serious type of project. And after I tacked in the one tour bus, I'm like, this is actually really good, because I can just return my trap trick targets, I can return some of my hole targets, and bring them right back to the deck if I ever need them, and it's really good. I would definitely consider running it at more, but since your deck's already at 50, it doesn't really matter, and plus, you go so plus anyway off a Box of Friends, it doesn't really matter. You only need one.
Then next up, we have one of the key players of the deck, Zumbawa. Zumbawa is a really good card. I'm surprised not like a lot of people are using it, because his attack gain is actually permanent. I've gotten him up to like 5k, 6k. It's ridiculous what this guy can get up to if he survives. And the best thing is that it's at attack declaration, so he becomes automatically 15. Not to mention his main use is of getting Box of Friends, and then Box of Friends gives you all these other plays.
And I can tell you from experience right now, if that's on Battle, if you let it live for more than 3 turns, you're never gonna get rid of it, and it's just gonna sit there forever.
Oh yeah.
Like, he doesn't leave. So.
And then we have a little like kind of like a draw engine of the deck. We have 3 Mystic Piper. We have a lot of level 1s, so I was like, why not tech in Mystic Piper? Plus, he gives you an instant light target for one of your, you know, your Chaos monsters. Because sometimes you might need like a light target and you don't want to, you know, destroy your Box of Friends or like just affect Veiler randomly. So he provides that light target. It's really good, and you might potentially get 2 cards off of it. Not a bad card. You do have to waste your normal summon, but you have all these traps which help you out.
Yeah.
So you also have Battle Fader, which is a really good level 1 for the deck. It's helped me out so many times because a lot of people aren't expecting Battle Fader. They're expecting more of the Swift Scarecrow. But I don't personally like Swift Scarecrow. I like the Battle Fader more because it provides me like a sacrifice for like maybe a dead Millennium Shield or Labyrinth Hole in my hand. It's pretty good. Next up we have the main engine of the deck, which is Box of Friends. We already went over the effect, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, the only real downside to it is that Monster Special Summon can't be used as sync material. But now that we have Exceeds, it really doesn't matter because you can just go right into a rank 5 off of what your zeros are. You just go right into a rank 5 or a rank 4. So really, that's synchro material effect is null and void at this point of the game. So.
Next up we have Effect Veiler. It's a really good tuner if you really need to sync for whatever reason, but its main use of course is to negate the effect. It's a really good hand trap, plus you can potentially get the extra draw with Mystic Piper.
And having those 2 in hand are pretty good.
Yeah. So. The next up we have, you know, staples. We have Darkle, and we have a 1-for-1, you know, to get that Box of Friends, maybe a Mystic Piper, you know, whatever you really need for the moment. And you have plenty of discard targets. You know, like if you draw Dark Magician, you can discard it and maybe go into like Chaos Sorcerer. You know, 1-for-1 actually provides a lot of plays for the deck and actually really necessary. Next up we have triple Mystical Space. I put the Mystical Space because there's not a lot of like destruction in the deck, so getting rid of your opponent's back row is really good. I don't want to get like torrential or like mirror force. So mystical is really, I don't know. I think it's key. What do you think?
Um, I think MST really is a key in any sort of deck, just because you're always gonna do well by getting rid of your opponent's macro. Because once you do that, you really stop a lot of their plays of either defending themselves or getting out another card that they need, or even clearing their whole entire field. Like, I know from personal experiences, I sit down a card and my opponent MSTs and I'm like, damn, I can't do anything now. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us as duelists can understand that. So MST really is a good card, and it's been like that since, oh god,
Since it came out.
So next up, I think we got one of the newest staples of, in my opinion, of 2013, 2014, even 2012 is Forbidden Lance. Now, obviously, you target a face-up monster. It doesn't matter which monster. It could be your opponent's, could be yours. It loses 800, but it cannot be affected by the effects of spells and traps. So you know that Mirror Force you got face down. Can't get rid of it. And yeah, it's just so good. It's a quick play, so you can just activate it whenever you want. If it's in your hand and it's your turn, you're attacking. Oh, let's do Mirror Force. Oh, JK, Forbidden Lance.
Yeah.
So, such a trollsy card.
Not to mention, you can also target your opponent's monster, so you can, lessen their attack and, potentially get over it, because it might have just 100 more than you or whatever. Annoying number. And
50 more.
So, it's really good. I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty familiar with Lance. It's been, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Next up we have Magical Mallet. I was tempted to put Hand Destruction instead of Mallet, but I actually found out Magical Mallet's a lot better for the deck, because I can always put my targets back. Because, like I said, if I don't have these guys in the deck, my friends is just sitting there all lonely without friends. So, Magical Mallet provides a lot of, like, good stuff. I mean, yeah, you can potentially draw them back, but, it's kind of like chance you take.
Yeah. And next up, we got D-Prisons. D-Prisons are really good because it doesn't really, destroy. It just gets rid of them. So, like, if you got an annoying card like Beelzebub,
Oh
I think it's
god,
called?
yes.
Beelzebub, yeah?
Yeah.
Like that 3k level 8 synchro that's ridiculously hard to get rid of just because you can't destroy it. But this doesn't technically destroy, so you can just banish it right off the bat, and boom, your problem's out of the way. And that's what I like about D-Prison. And also, I personally think it should be considered a staple in a lot of decks, but a lot of people think it's too slow.
I like it.
I
personally.
like it. Or maybe because it targets. Maybe that might be the other downside, but I still like it either way.
Next up we have Mirror Force. Pretty self-explanatory. I was tempted to put Torrential, but I kind of like Mirror Force a little bit better. I know it's a little bit slower than Torrential, but I don't know. I think Mirror Force is personally a better choice for me. Next up we have Compulse. Pretty self-explanatory. Gets rid of any problem monsters immediately. Fiendish Chain, negates effects, and they can't attack, which is awesome. Stall.
Yeah, so you just stall your opponent's effect monster for days. Like, a lot of monsters nowadays are effect monsters. All your Xyzs are effect monsters. All the monsters played now are effect monsters. Most of the synchros you play are effect monsters. So just hitting them with a Fiendish Chain is just the greatest thing ever, because not only do you not get hit with an attack, they can't use their effect, and they just sit there just saying like, well, damn. Like, that's the only way to explain it. Like, there's no other way. Fiendish Chain is now, like I said, like how Forbidden Lance has become a staple, Fiendish Chain is pretty much one of those staples now too.
And next up, it's one of my personal favorite cards, is Scrap Iron Scarecrow. I always put Scrap Iron like in all my decks. Scrap Iron, yeah, it has that downside that it's kind of slow, but since it goes set face down again, you can use it every turn, and that, oh my god, that saved me so many times. And not to mention, it's also a good MST target, just in case you reveal that you have a Scrap Iron. Your opponent's probably going to MST the Scrap Iron instead of your other face downs, which is pretty good, because if they MST this instead of your Mirror Force or your like Fiendish Chain or your D-Prison, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Not to mention, Scrap Iron really is annoying. Especially when he has both of them face down, you're just sitting there like,
what am I gonna do now?
What am I doing?
So yeah, that's it for the main deck. But the extra deck, we have Cataster, we have Archimedes, we have Stardust, and we have Scrap Iron. I'm
Scrap Dragon.
Scrap Dragon, sorry. So yeah, Scrap Dragon actually provides a lot of plays. I actually discovered a play the other day, which I didn't really think of, which is actually destroying your own box of friends and then destroying one of your opponent's cards. Box of Friends actually gets its effect. I didn't actually think of that till DevPro actually said, "You want to activate Box of Friends?" I was like, "Oh yeah." It's actually really cool.
I can't believe you didn't think of that. Like, it never crossed your mind at all?
Nope.
No? Wow. I figured Scrap Dragon would be a great addition to your deck because not only is it 28 beater, you just pop your monster, pop your opponent's card, and do it again, and again, and again, and keep that Scrap Dragon.
I don't know. I personally never thought of it.
Alright.
Next up we have Fortune Tune, which is a really good rank 3. It's wow. You just keep gaining life and life if you can protect it with your traps. And it can't be targeted, so sometimes I've had my opponents like go Chaos Sorcerer, or like something that targets, like a Compulse, and they go Compulse your Fortune Tune, and like you can't target it, so they have to compulse their own monster, since you can't take it back on DevPro, which is awesome. Next up we have Zen Mains. When you can't really protect your Fortune Tune, you go into Zen Mains, since it's a lot safer. Yeah, Zen Mains doesn't protect itself from targeting effects, but, you know, it's pretty difficult to get over if you don't have that targeting effect like Compulse or Chaos Sorcerer or BLS. So, I don't know, pretty solid rank 3s. Not to mention that Fortune Tune also recycles my tour guides. So, I actually had a game where I kept putting back the tour guides and I kept drawing and drawing the tour guides. I actually went Fortune Tune like 9 times in a row. It was crazy. My opponent was really mad. Next up we have Princess Cologne. Princess Cologne is actually really good. She's, oh wow, like you would actually probably have to see her in play to understand, but when she's Xyz summoned, she can special summon a box of friends from your grave, and her other effect is that as long as you control a monster, you can't choose her as an attack target, and you also can't target her. So what that means, if Box of Friends is your only card, they have to attack your Box of Friends, and then Box of Friends get one of your normal monsters. And then if they destroy that normal monster, it goes into her main effect, which is detach an Xyz material, and then you can special summon a normal monster from either your grave or your deck, which is the main reason why I put Dark Magician in there, because Dark Magician, when he's on the field, I don't know, I think it's pretty awesome bringing out Dark Magician. Not to mention he's my favorite card, so I have to put him in there.
Not even that, you never see Dark Magician, so once it comes out onto the field, a lot of people are like,
whoa.
What? they're like so confused. And then again, a lot of people get confused when they see Box of Friends, so I don't know.
So she's pretty good. She actually helps herself with like Box of Friends. You know, a great synergy there. Next up we have Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald helps me a lot because it actually puts back your resources back into the deck. Because once you go like Box of Friends once or twice, you most likely have drawn one of the normals, or you don't have enough targets, because Box of Friends, you do need 2 targets with different names. So if you drew both, it's like, but if somehow you can put them back into the deck with Daigusto Emerald, you can have another Box of Friends play. You can actually also get a free draw off of it. Not to mention, you can also special summon them if you need them, which is pretty good. Next up, we have rank 5s, which is going to be Volcasaurus, Adrius, and Terrace. And these guys are, wow, these are probably like the main Xyz I go into in the deck. They're pretty solid. They don't really have any drawbacks, and if they do get Fiendish Chained, or like I can't really do anything with them, you can always go into Gaia Dragon, which is awesome, because Gaia Dragon, you know, like, oh, you Fiendish Chain me? Whoop, Gaia Dragon.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the most solid rank 5s you can ever find in Yu-Gi-Oh right now.
The only other rank 5 I was thinking of was Shark Fortress, but I'm a little iffy on that one. I like the 2 Volcasaurus because people like to negate my Volcasaurus or just like get rid of it, so going to another Volcasaurus is pretty good. And then next up we have Gaga Cowboy and Utopia. I always keep Utopia even though people hate Utopia, but I personally like Utopia. He always helps me out when I need that stall. Some people might put in like Shark Arc or like, you know, the new Xyz, but I kind of put it so with cards I can afford, because I didn't want to go like, what is it, Exedion Knight?
Oh my god, it's Exedion Knight's like 75. I'm like, I'm not gonna drop the money on that. I'm gonna wait until it gets reprinted.
So yeah, guys, that's the deck. Ignore the side deck. This isn't my real side deck. I just put these cards because these were ideas that were floating through my head. Because at one point I had like one maiden with eyes of blue, with the blue eyes, and it was crazy. So
You might as well go Azure at the same time.
it was just ideas floating around, so ignore that.
Yeah, like, this deck has pretty much been through, and I can tell you, because I've had to face every single version of this deck, probably like 10 versions before this was actually finalized, and it's really solid. Like, I have trouble getting over this with any deck that I have, like Sylvans, or even like slow decks like my Trap Tricks that could actually put up a decent fight.
But yeah, going to bad matchups, because I haven't really lost with this deck. I probably had like around like 50 duels, and I probably lost like maybe like 10, 15 max, which is a pretty good record for a non-meta deck, because the only reasons I've lost is because I was facing like Constellar, or I was facing Noble Knights, and like, you know, or I drew just like, my opening hand was like 2 Millennium Shield, 2 Labyrinth Wall, and like, I don't know.
Dark Magician.
Yeah, like that happened to me once, and I was like, oh, good game. Because they just went OTK, and I was like, oh, sad face. But yeah, the deck, as long as you don't draw like this hand, you're pretty solid.
Like, you could start off with like one Gemini Garnet, Mass Chameleon, a Zombow Wow, and I don't know, an MST and a Phoenix Chain. You'll still do fine.
Yeah, you'll do fine. Like, as long as you actually think for your play, you should be fine. But anyway, guys, that's it. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Pretty much, guys, if you really want to try out this deck, try out this deck. It's really fun. It's kind of sort of budget. I mean, you got a lot of those reprinted cards. The real money in this whole entire deck is probably the Mystic Piper. Okay, let me write out the whole list for you. Ready? Mystic Piper, Phoenix Chain, Forbidden Lance, Gaia Charger. Cowboy's not that expensive anymore. Armides, then you got Adrius and Tyrus, then you got Volcasaurus, and then you got Emerald. It's kind of budget compared to all the other decks, but it's still, you know, expensive. If you want like the core bare bones of this deck, it's basically like, what, $20, $30?
Yeah, it's really cheap.
And a lot of people already had Tyrus and Adrius, maybe even reprinted twice, so if you don't have it by now, get on for that, bro. Like, seriously.
Yeah, like, I think it's budget mainly because everyone probably already has these cards, and the cards they don't have is probably like Piper.
Or Armides. Yeah. Armides is another card that a lot of people wouldn't really have, like, on hand. So, that's probably, like, the only real money you're shelling out for is the Armides. And
the Piper.
The Pipers.
Because these are really difficult to find. Like, no one has them.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like,
yeah.
What are they, like, secrets?
Yeah,
they were like low secrets too, so I'm surprised that nobody has them. So
yeah, guys, I hope you liked my creative deck. I made it up completely by myself. You know, I didn't really have help except for like playtesting it. I did have like a couple ideas tossed around from like the Joe and Sharia, but I didn't really personally like it. Like, maybe it's just not my playstyle. Like, I know the Joe made his own Box of Friends deck after he saw mine. But anyway, guys, this is JCcalonge and
Sharia
signing out.
Like us on Facebook, guys. You won't